studio as always.
What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the MaddenBallerz YouTube channel and our Georgia State Dynasty. Last week the Panthers were on the road in South Bend, Indiana, taking on number 4 Notre Dame, a hard-fought game, but the Panthers suffered their first loss of the season, 24-17. Though they didn't fall very far, they fell from number 2 to number 4 in the country, having an outside chance at a national championship berth. They finished the regular season this week at home against Middle Tennessee State. Can they get back on track? We'll find out next. Will start out on offense here. Sanders back to pass, going to dump it off on a screenplay to Sims, and Sims is going to gain 8. Second down and 2 for Middle Tennessee State. Sanders hands off to Sims, cuts it back outside, past the 40, past midfield, pass inside the 40, down to the 34. It's a 33-yard gain, and the Blue Raiders are in Georgia State territory. Sanders going to pass for the first time today. Throws this one deep, almost picked off by B.J. Allen. Nice deflection there, but should have had the interception. Sanders now in the shotgun in 3rd and 5. He's looking to pass, steps up, fires it outside, out of bounds. Don't know what he was doing there, but the Blue Raiders will decide to go for a field goal here. It's a long one. The kick is up. And it is good, and we have our first studio update of the day. University of South Florida versus the University of Central Florida. South Florida wins it 24-20. Steve Smith and the Panthers come out. Smith 255 yards passing last week and no touchdowns in that loss to Notre Dame. 1st and 10 for the Panthers. Handoff to Anthony Gross, trying to get outside, but he stopped for no gain. 2nd down and 10 now for the Panthers. Working from the shotgun. Smith working around the pocket here. Lots of time. Fires deep and caught by Luther Madison. A flag comes in though on the play, and it's going to be holding, I believe. 3rd and 20 now for the Panthers. This pass outside for Lavelle Hampton is incomplete, and the Panthers go 4 and out on their first drive. Blue Raiders take over. Sanders passing outside, caught by Neal, and he's got a gain of 17 into Georgia State territory. 1st and 10 from the 33. Sanders back to pass here, pressured and goes down. Buck Holt with the sack for a loss of 7 on the play. That'll set up 3rd and 17. Sanders looking to pass. He's going to find Wilson, and Wilson's got the catch, but he's taken down just short of the marker, though that does leave them in field goal range, and they're going to try a long one here. The kick is up, and it is good, and Middle Tennessee State takes a 6-0 lead. Georgia State takes over now for the 2nd time. Handoff to Anthony Gross on 2nd and inches, and he's going to gain 9. Up towards midfield now. It's 2nd down and 8. Smith back to pass, and he's going to go down. Sacked for a loss of 7 on the play. And it'll be 3rd and 15 now for Georgia State. Smith going deep, and that one swatted down. It was off the mark anyway. Ernest Harrison with a deflection, and Georgia State has to punt again. The Blue Raiders take over for their 3rd time here in the 1st quarter. Going outside, caught by Wheeler, and Wheeler's up to midfield, a 25-yard pitch and catch. 2nd and inches now in this drive for the Blue Raiders. Handoff to Sims. He cuts it outside. He's down inside the 30, inside the 20, pushed out of bounds at about the 13, about 28-yard gain. 1st and 10, Blue Raiders. A pass outside here to Wheeler's, caught inside the 10. It'll be 2nd down and 4 now from the 7 for Middle Tennessee State. Sanders back to pass, going outside to Sims, but that's going to turn into a loss of 2. 3rd and 7 for the Blue Raiders. Sanders back to pass, going to the end zone, caught by Alex Wheeler, touchdown, and Middle Tennessee State shocking Georgia State here, 13-0, as we get in our studio update. Number 1 Ohio State losing 3-0 right now in the first quarter to number 11 Michigan. If they lose, will we get in the top 2? If we win, we go to a fly sweep on our third possession to open it up, and Luther Madison gains 10. Second down and inches, handoff to Stephen Leach. He's got the first down and more. Jukes the defender, tries to juke a second defender, has to break a tackle, but he does, and he gets inside the 10. Touchdown, Georgia State, and Stephen Leach with a big one on the ground, getting Georgia State on the board here as we end the first quarter down 13-7. Second quarter opens up with the Blue Raiders in Georgia State territory, looking to add on to their lead. But Brian Sanders will go down for a loss of 9 on the sack. The sack by Brad Williams. 3rd and 19. Sanders back to pass here, looking. And he's going to fire, and it's picked off by Chaz Holly. He's going to take this one back past midfield inside the 30. Will he go the distance? He does. Pick 6 for Georgia State. Chaz Holly returns that one about 70 yards. And Georgia State has taken the lead 14-13 as the Blue Raiders take over again. Brad Williams again with another sack, though, a loss of 8. And this is going to set up a 3rd and 5 eventually for Middle Tennessee State. Handoff to Sims on the delay, and he is stopped for a short gain. And this Georgia State defense has stepped up now as they get the ball back, up by 1. Steve Smith going to keep it on the read option up the middle, and he's going to get free. Will they get him? They do, but not before a big gain of 33. 2nd and 1 now for Georgia State. Smith back to pass, looking, firing outside, caught by Terrence Flynn, out of bounds at the 7. 1st and goal from there. Smith under center will hand off to Anthony Gross. He's trying to go up the middle, and he gains 4. 2nd down and goal for the Panthers. Hand off to the fullback, Fred Jones, or Terry Jones. And Terry Jones into the end zone for the touchdown. Georgia State, 21 unanswered points, and they have an 8-point lead as we get another studio update. Number 5 Nebraska losing right now to unranked Iowa, 7-0. Back to our game. The Blue Raiders take over, trying to answer back with some kind of score. This pass out to Rogers is going to go for 10 and a first down. 1st and 10 for Middle Tennessee State. Sanders trying to set up the screen, but it does not work, and Brad Williams gets his 3rd sack on the day. Later on, it's 3rd and 29. Sanders back to pass, firing, caught by Neal, but he'll be plenty short of that first down marker, and the Blue Raiders have to punt. Georgia State takes over here, up by 8. Handoff to Gross, trying to get outside. He does, but he tries to cut it back up the middle, and he's dragged down from behind. Looked like a horse collar, but he's injured. He will not return this game. He has back spasms, and he is out for the rest of the game. As this pass deep to Trevor Phillips is caught, a gain of 41, and we're down to the Blue Raiders 30. 3rd and 4 now. Smith gonna fire, caught by Phillips, and he's down inside the 20, a gain of 11. 3rd and 4. Smith working from the shotgun here. He's going to fire off the mark, incomplete. And Georgia State's going to settle for a field goal here to take a 24-13 lead. Late in the second quarter, 5 seconds left. Blue Raiders going for a field goal, and it's no good. It leaves 1 second on the clock, and Georgia State decides to throw one play up here. Smith going to throw this one up. Hail Mary. And Trevor Phillips comes up with a 56-yard Hail Mary with 1 second left on the clock. Georgia State takes a 31-13 lead into halftime. Georgia State has the ball to start the second half and an 18-point lead. This pass to Trevor Phillips. He had a big into that first half. He gains 19 on this pass and catch. And we look at the halftime stats here. Georgia State, 152 yards rushing, so rushing the ball very well today and holding Middle Tennessee State to only 20 yards rushing. 1st and 10. Smith play action here, rolling out to his right, firing deep, caught by Phillips. Another big catch by Trevor Phillips. 1st and 10, Georgia State from the shotgun. Smith going to look to pass again, this time going deep and caught by Phillips again, 18 yards, and Phillips is the man right now for Georgia State on offense. Handoff to Stephen Leach on 2nd and goal, and he will gain 3. 3rd down and goal for the Panthers. Shotgun formation. Smith looking, good blocking, rolls out to his left here. Got fire on the run and almost picked off. He didn't see the defender there, and the Panthers settle for a field goal. They take a 34-13 lead as the Blue Raiders take over. Rogers with this catch. That'll gain 10 and a 1st down. 3rd and 1 now in Georgia State territory. Sanders gonna keep it on the read option, and that was a mistake, taken down in the backfield. But there's a flag, and it's gonna be a 15-yard face mask penalty. 1st and 10 for the Blue Raiders. Sanders looking to pass, fires, and deflected by Ben Wood. What a nice deflection to come in there at the last second. 3rd and 6 now for the Blue Raiders. Sanders gonna pass, looking, dumps it off to Sims, and Sims is taken down after no gain on the play. And Middle Tennessee State's going to kick a field goal to make it 34-16. Looking at the last 5 drives for Georgia State. Touchdown, touchdown, field goal, touchdown, and field goal. So 5 straight scores. Can the Blue Raiders stop them? 1st and 10, handoff to Matt Barnes. Well, the answer's no on that play. That's a gain of about 13. 1st and 10, Smith back to pass. Looking, scrambling out to his left here, going, is he going to take off? No, he's going to stop and fire and find Luther Madison, 34 yards and a 1st down. 2nd down and 6 now, handoff to Matt Barnes. He's going to be stopped behind the line for a loss of 1. And Georgia State has 3rd and 7 now. Smith back to pass. Good blocking, fires, caught by Terrence Flynn. He's down to the 5. That's a 9-yard gain. It's 1st and goal, Georgia State. Handoff goes to Matt Barnes on 1st and goal, and he gains 2. That will bring us to the end of the 3rd quarter. Georgia State on top, 34-16. Georgia State trying to finish off this drive they started in the 3rd quarter. 2nd and goal. Mark Barnes goes for about 3, down to the 1. 3rd and goal. Smith fires quickly out of the back of the end zone. Receiver was not ready for it. And Georgia State on 4th and goal will kick a field goal. And we have another studio update. Number 5, Nebraska still losing to Iowa 28-24. We have a 41-16 lead now here for the Panthers, as they actually went for the touchdown there on 4th and goal. 3rd and 14 now for the Blue Raiders. Fires outside there, Sanders does, caught by Derek Neal for 13 yards. That'll be short of the marker. And the Blue Raiders punt. Trevor Phillips, 6 catches, 171 yards, and a touchdown on the day. What a game he is having here in the regular season. 1st and 10, handoff to Mark Barnes. He's going to get outside, past midfield, dragged down at the 40, a gain of 25. Very next play, Barnes gets the handoff up the middle. He's the #1 guy today on this rushing attack, and he's going to gain another 1st down. 1st and 10, Smith back to pass. He's going to fire, and it's deflected by Jared Jones, incomplete. He'll bring up 3rd and 3 now for the Panthers. Smith, play action. Looking, firing, and caught by Lavelle Hampton. Touchdown, Georgia State. And they extend their lead to 48-16 over Middle Tennessee State here. Another studio update. Michigan on top of #1 Ohio State, 26-17. Hopefully that score can hold up We have a blowout here in the Georgia Dome, 48-16, as Sanders is taken off. 1st and 10, he will gain 13. Very next play here, Sanders from the shotgun, looking to pass. Good blocking, fires outside, caught by Wheeler, and that's going to gain 19 yards. In Georgia State territory now at the 49, Sanders pass over the middle, caught by Alex Wheeler, a gain of 17. From the shotgun, Sanders steps up, fires, caught by Stone, but he drops it after being hit, incomplete. He'll bring up 4th and 9 later in this drive, and the Blue Raiders going for it. Sanders back to pass here, is going to fire to the end zone, and it's picked off by Ben Woods. Somehow he made the interception and got a foot in bounds. That is going to seal it for Georgia State. Steve Smith, your player of the game, 248 yards, 2 touchdowns, and Georgia State gets the victory, 48-16. They will be going to the Sun Belt Championship game. Taking a look at scores from other games around the country this week, number 7 Minnesota wins 43-36 over Michigan State. We have to wait to find out that Michigan Ohio State score. Stats from our game today: Georgia State 287 yards rushing. What a ground attack, even though Anthony Gross went out. Steve Smith, your player of the game on offense. Brad Williams on defense with 4 sacks on the day. And we now have some recruiting news. Spencer Berry, athlete, I believe he's a cornerback, has committed to our team. He's a 2-star JUCO from Oxnard, California. We get him over Washington, Tennessee, USC, and Vanderbilt. He's 6'4", 180 pounds, and he could also be a quarterback, but we're going to put him probably in coverage, 79-man, 78 zone. So we have that. And then we have Brandon Smith, a defensive end, 74 overall, 4-star from Lexington, Fayette, Kentucky. He's 6'3", 220. He's a 74 overall. He has some nice attributes going for him there, so we can get him as well. And we also get QB Nate Rogers, the number 3 overall QB on the recruiting. He is a 4-star, 5'11", 174 from Lapeer, Michigan. He's actually down 3 overall to a 75, but he's got 85 throw power and 74 throw accuracy. We can work with him as well. And the new updated BCS rankings, Georgia State moves up 1. Ohio State ended up losing to Michigan, but Georgia State does not move up to number 2. They move up to number 3, and they'll be playing in the Sun Belt Championship game against the University of Louisiana Monroe. There's still a shot for Georgia State to go to the national championship game. They need a nice, impressive win in the Sun Belt Championship, and they need number 2 Alabama to lose in the SEC championship game against Tennessee. Notre Dame, the number 1 team, does not have a conference championship game, so it's all up to Alabama losing to Tennessee. We'll find out in the next episode if that happens. If you like this episode, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode.